Hello again, everybody. I got another question this week about another problem that involves the product rule with the chain rule. So this is the second example of a problem like this I'm doing. If you want more examples like this, I'd suggest you go back to my previous video. But for now, we're going to go through this. So to start with this, what we're going to do is we're actually initially going to work with the chain rule. So we're simply going to rewrite our f of t, which equals e to the 7t sine of 2t, in terms of u. So what we want here is we want our u to equal everything in this exponent. So u equals 7t sine of 2t. Very nice. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to rewrite our function in terms of u. So f of u equals e to the u. Very easy. Now, what we have here is the easiest derivative in the world. F prime of u simply equals e to the u. It's a beautiful little derivative. Everything stays the same. Unfortunately, in this case, it doesn't stay exactly the same because we have to multiply this by u prime, and that is because we substituted the u in for t, so we're doing the chain rule here. Never forget that. It's a very easy mistake to make. It's to get to here without writing u prime and think you're done. But it's a very easy mistake to make. Unfortunately, finding u prime in this case will be pretty tricky because we're going to have to use the product rule. So, in order to find u prime, we're going to have to break this up right here into f of t and g of t. Sorry about that. So, for our f of t, we're going to have that equal 7t. And for our g of t, we're going to have that equal the sine of 2t, so g of t. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down right here. So f of t equals 7t, and g of t equals sine, that's a funny looking sign, sine of 2t. There we go. So to start, let's go ahead and let's find f prime, because we'll need it for the product rule. So f prime of t simply equals 7. Nice and easy derivative there. We just get rid of the t. Now g prime of t is going to be a little bit trickier because we're actually going to have to use the chain rule again. So in this case, we're going to have 2t right here be our u. So u equals 2t. And our g of u then is sine of u. Now, we're also going to need our u prime for later on since we're doing the chain rule. So u prime is simply 2. Now, when it comes to finding the derivative of trig functions, I learned this little trick from a professor named Niraj Wagh. He works here at Valencia, and it goes like this. He taught me to just draw this little compass, he called it. Whoops. I was about to draw northeast, southwest. So this little compass, which goes sine, cosine, negative sine, negative cosine, and he told me that when you're taking the derivative, you go clockwise, like this. So, as an example, if you're taking the derivative of sine, you get cosine. And if you're taking the derivative of cosine, you get negative sine. And if you're taking the derivative of negative sine, you get negative cosine, and so on. It goes like that. Now, if you're taking the antiderivative, or finding the integral in other terms, you go counterclockwise, like this. Now, we won't be doing much of that in this class, but just for future reference, that's how you can do that using this little compass. So, for our g of u, we know that our g prime of u will be, we're taking the derivative of sine, cosine. It will be cosine. So cosine of u. Now remember, again, since we use the chain rule, we're going to have to multiply this by u prime times u prime. So now let's go ahead and rewrite this in terms of t. So g prime of t equals u prime 2 times cosine of u, and u is 2t. So there we go. We've gone ahead and we found our g prime of t, our f prime of t, our f of t, and our g our g of t. So let's go ahead and plug that into our product rule. But before that, I want to set this equal to u prime because I don't want to forget that that's actually what we're finding. So when we find the solution of this product rule, we need to plug that in right here. So let's not lose sight of that. So we rewrite right here. Make sure I get everything on screen I need on screen. So u prime equals, so the first thing we need to bring out is our f prime of t. F prime of t is 7. Multiplied by our g of t. Our g of t is sine of 2t plus f of t. F of t is 7t times g prime of t, which is 2 cosine of 2t. Now we can simply rewrite this as 7 sine of 2t plus 14t cosine of 2t. There we go. Nice and simple. And just like that, we have our u prime. So what we need to do is we need to plug this in up here. So let me rewrite our f prime of u, which equals e to the u times u prime. And in this case, I'm going to write this with the u prime first so it looks nicer. So when we're writing this in terms of t, our f prime of t equals e, or no, I'll leave the e to the u up front, as a matter of fact. Okay, so e to the u, what was our u? This is our u. So e to the u, which means e to the 7t sine of 2t, let me rewrite that here, e to the 7t sine of 2t times u prime. So this right here times all of this right over here. So let me put our left parentheses here and rewrite our u prime. So u prime is 7 sine of 2t plus 14t cosine of 2t. And just like that, there's our answer. Now you're gonna have to resist the urge to distribute this through everything because we don't actually need to do that. This right here is a perfectly acceptable answer. So I hope this has been a help. If you guys have any more questions, please feel free to let me know. And I look forward to hearing from you guys again soon. Bye.